Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another Coffee and Devotions with Adam. I'm your resident host, Adam, and this is my coffee. Good coffee this morning, by the way, in case you were wondering. Listen, I've got one of the guys in my youth group. He's from the Ukraine. Hi, Ole, if you're watching. Shout out to my boy. Anyway, it interested me in into this, like, the history of Ukraine and kind of looking into Ukraine, and so I started, just kind of Bing searching Ukraine and seeing just some of the things I could find about some of his homeland and stuff, and this story popped up about this 17-year-old Ukrainian boy who, for his birthday, his parents bought him a brand new car, and he burned the car to the ground, poured gasoline on it and burned it to the ground. And the story went on to explain that he was angry about failing his driving test. He'd been given the birthday present, and he was so disappointed at failing his test that he poured gasoline on the car and then lit the thing on fire in his front yard. He was like, And so he told the police officers when they got there, he said to them, when I came home, he said, I saw my car, and I thought it was laughing at me. He said I could hear it laughing at me, so I poured gas on it and lit it up. Who needs the car anyway? Those were his words. So the first thought that I had was that this guy really doesn't seem like the sharpest knife in the drawer or the sharpest tool in the shed. I, for one, would love a new car for my birthday, a nice brand new car off the lot. Mom and Dad, if you're watching this, I'm just saying, it's a wonderful birthday present. So, I'm just kidding. But anyway, look, if I did get a car for my birthday, cremating the car would not be on the top of the list of things for me to do with the car. So, but before we judge this pubescent pyromaniac too overly harshly, let's think about it for a minute and consider if there are any parallels between his life and our life. So in order to do that, we need to read a fairly poignant, kind of pointed passage that was written by the brother of Jesus. It's in James chapter 3, verse 6. It says, and the tongue is a flame of fire. It's full of wickedness that can ruin your whole life. It can turn the entire course of your life into a blazing flame of destruction, for it's set on fire by hell itself. Now, James isn't messing around here, okay? He's drawing a really, really good analogy between the damage we do with our tongues and the destructive force of the fire. Basically, he's kind of warning us to keep that holy fire extinguisher nearby, because at just about any moment in time, hell itself just might strike that match that just wreaks all kinds of harm and havoc into our lives and into other people's lives. And you know who wasn't the sharpest knife in the drawer, that tool in the shed, like I said before? The person that came up with the saying, sticks and stones may break our bones, but words or names will never hurt me. Listen, words can hurt. And anybody that tells you otherwise is selling something. Our tongues can light up our lives faster than you could even say stop, drop, and roll. God has given us a really beautiful gift in our lives, and that gift is called relationships. Yet, like our Ukrainian friend that we just spoke about, we oftentimes fail, and then we feel like we're being laughed at. And then, so what do? We torch them. Not literally, of course. Now, we don't just go into the church and pour gasoline on people and start, burning them down. But we burn people with our sarcasm, with our angry words, with our gossip, with our completely ingenuine praise, and even our silence. Oh man, they deserved it. You should have heard what they said to me. That person absolutely deserved it. They started it. They said it first, and I had to finish it. Now, look, I'm not saying that you don't have a reason, but quite honestly, in God's sight, our excuse sounds about as reasonable as that guy in the story that I told you guys. So, what is the holy fire extinguisher that I said? Well, it starts with self-control. And here's what Solomon said about it. In Proverbs 17:28, Dad, another shout out to you. I love Proverbs, man. Thanks for pointing me to there all the time. It says, Even fools are thought to be wise when kept silent. When they keep their mouths shut, they seem intelligent. Listen, that's nothing more than that age-old advice to think before you speak, especially when you're angry. It's always a really good idea to consider how your words are going to affect other people. After self-control, then comes an examination of your motives. So you got to ask yourself, why am I about to share this information? Is it going to be helpful or is it going to be hurtful? Is the person that I'm talking to part of the problem or part of the solution? And what if God held me accountable for the words that I'm about to say? You see, questions like these can really save you from having to call on God's fire department later on. So the next time you're about to turn yourself into that flamethrower, think about our car-burning friend, and when you do, ask yourself if there's any possibility that you could be related. Cheers, everybody.